Good that you're joining for the weekly Assassin's Creed show. I'm of course always joined by Frankie Boy, also known as Fragnard. Welcome, man. Welcome.
Hey, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Nice
of
to
course.
see you.
Yeah, good to see you as well. We have an interesting show, as the title and the thumbnail kind of reads. I think this is gonna be an interesting discussion. I wanted to kind of go over. Should we be worried about Assassin's Creed Shadows? And it's not gonna be like a downer episode or so. Just throwing it out there with some recent news that has been happening with Ubisoft. Will that impact Shadows? And is the situation that is kind of going on right now kind of healthy for this company? And are they now maybe relying more on Shadows than that? Should be healthy. Again, if we where I want to start. First of all, of course, every Wednesday we're live here, so thanks for joining. It's 3 p.m. Central European time, 2 p.m. UK time. It's early in the US, but of course the video will be up after we went live. Thanks everyone for joining. Makkerman, good to see you as always. Mark Chipnuk, I appreciate you. And thanks everyone else there. 11 p.m. in Australia. I mean, it's better than 2 a.m. because that's usually if you want to be streaming for the US, then Australia is kind of left in the dark, sadly. But where I want to start with this is this article from Insider Gaming from Tom Henderson. Of course, we know Tom Henderson.
We know him.
I mean, he follows me, so yeah.
Yeah.
I know him personally. No, I don't know him, but he has done some great reporting, of course. So it's always interesting to hear what he has to say. So basically, he says Ubisoft stock tanks to a 10-year low after lukewarm Assassin's or Star Wars Outlaws launch. And I actually have a link to the... Where did I put it? To the stock. Did we?
It's so insane because the stock was once risen to $100 with the reveal of Star Wars Outlaws being made by Ubisoft. So
yeah,
the first thing that happened was it was risen by Star Wars, and now it was driven down by Star Wars as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's especially crazy that they started the year at 23 euros, of course. It's all in euros here, and they're now 15% or 15 euro. So they already lost a lot of value, like €8 in terms of per stock value. And if we go to the 5-year, I know we're kind of blocking. So if I can kind of do it like this, maybe we can move ourselves a bit. So,
Whoop whoop. Ah, the euros.
Yes,
I mean, most of you guys are likely going to think about US dollars, but just add a few more cents.
It makes sense. I mean, they have headquarters, of course, in Paris, so I think that's probably why. But and some people are saying, who's Tom Henderson? He's like a reporter. He has been he reports on a lot of Ubisoft things. He has some sources inside the company and has his website Insider Gaming where he shares all that stuff. So sometimes we hear about some plans from Ubisoft a bit before they are supposed to be revealed, which is interesting. So we can discuss and analyze things. But this is not looking good, of course. At one point in I think if we even go to max, so the highest point they ever had was €100 in July of 2018, and
exactly.
This was during E3. I mean, this was E3 when they announced Odyssey. So I think here was kind of okay, Assassin's Creed not doing as well. Syndicate, of course. Yeah, we see here a dip when Syndicate came out, because that, of course, didn't do as well as they anticipated. But then, they kind of... Origins was great, so it went up. They, of course, had Far Cry, which was doing very well, Far Cry 5. And then, Far Cry 5 was 500 million revenue, I think, in in like a weekend. Like it was crazy. Like that game was super successful.
That was even a surprise for Ubisoft themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And also for my channel, which blew up out of nowhere with Far Cry 5.
Yeah, that's cool,
eventually.
right? Yeah. So we of course have been there covering these games in the heyday, kind of
with the Vector back then in the good old times.
Yeah, and Cheeseburger, the bear and stuff. That was a good times. But yeah, then Odyssey was announced, and yeah, everything was going well, but it has been going down ever since. Like, of course, COVID, so Valhalla doing insanely well. Again, we see a huge spike there. But really, and that's what I've been talking about many times during the Sunday videos. Of course, every Sunday I post like a gaming news roundup video, is that Valhalla was kind of the last real like runaway success they had in terms of financial gains. And that game was that's the first Assassin's Creed that made $1 billion in revenue, which is crazy. Like Assassin's Creed 3, maybe in the grand scheme of things, still sold more. I'm not sure if that's still the case, of course, because Valhalla was supported for many years. But Assassin's Creed 3 was always the most successful in terms of like fastest selling Assassin's Creed. And Valhalla, just made. I mean, games were more expensive, microtransactions, of course, huge DLCs. So that game, the first Assassin's Creed to reach $1 billion in revenue, which is huge for one game. But yeah, after that, we went down. We went kind of up here with Far Cry, but that also didn't do as well.
A little bit of yelling timber, but...
And yeah, it has been going down ever since. It's crazy that they went from €78 to like 15.
Yeah.
And if you look at other companies, and we can like quickly... I don't want to like make this like a financial show, but it kind of does prove my point. If I look at like EA stock and Take-Two, for example, like two other major publishers, of course. If we look here, like
Ubisoft right now, it looks like an endless downhill drive. And EA is just
like from max. They're
selling
like,
FIFA.
They're at their highest, almost their highest peak right now. And if we go to Take-Two stock,
everybody else is doing better. I mean, gaming stocks in general, they are quite volatile, in my opinion. So when you never know what happens when a game releases, even though it's successful.
Sure. But the point is kind of that people have kind of lost where the other companies also had their dips. Like Take-Two has not released a major game since Borderlands 3 in 2019. Because all the other games are, if you don't count NBA that they launch every year, GTA Online that just keeps making money, etc., etc. And still, they're like completely fine. But they have GTA 6 coming, and that's of course
GTA is just covering everything.
Yeah, that's gonna...
One interesting stock as well is, of course, CD Projekt, which is down as well since the release of Cyberpunk, which was just this huge crash. But Ubisoft has been slowly but steadily going down over the years, with all those failed projects, maybe.
Yeah, that's kind of my point, is that it feels like they kind of still...
By Take-Two as well.
Lost touch. They kind of are still figuring out. Like, Lost Generation, they started with Watch Dogs. And we can all... I mean, not a lot of people... I mean, it did not live up to the sort of first reveal they had. But people were excited for it. People were like, whoa, this looks like something new. I want to try it. Watch Dogs 2 came out 2 years later and was, of course, way better. They made The Division, which was huge. Ghost Recon Wildlands was enormous. We mentioned Far Cry 5 already. Assassin's Creed Origins. We, of course, had Black Flag at the start of that generation. And then, after Odyssey, so 2018... They had Division 2 2019 that didn't really set the world on fire. Then Valhalla, and after that, they have not had like a major hit. And that's coming back because we're, of course, in the Assassin's Creed show. Coming back to Assassin's Creed Shadows, like, is it gonna turn around? And that's where kind of I think the statement is coming from. Like, should we be worried? Because they haven't had a major runaway success since Valhalla. Mirage was a success. Like, that was because they did not expect it to sell 10 million. And it was a Valhalla DLC. They turned relatively quickly into a big game. I mean, I think looking back at Mirage, I had a great time. What is your, like... It's like a year ago now that Mirage came out. What is your, like, takeaway on that?
Seems like an eternity right now.
Yeah,
I can't believe it's
exactly.
already a year. Mirage was great, in my opinion. It turned out better than I thought, and it sold better than I thought. So that was a nice thing for Ubisoft to happen out of, like, kind of a surprise rise, maybe, for a short period of half a month. In my opinion, Assassin's Creed Mirage could have been more, of course, but for what it was great, and I think they did well. Now, the bad thing is that Ubisoft is so reliant solely relying on Assassin's Creed right now, which is, of course, the topic of this. I mean, yeah, dropping from $100 to 16 is so crazy, and the worth of the company is from, I think they were Europe's most valued publisher, but right now I think they are pretty far down compared to some others. Maybe Embracer is even worth more.
Yeah, Embracer is a different type of thing, of course. I put down a poll for people there in the YouTube chat. I still think, like, poll in Twitch, I think it's possible, but it's like I have to... Oh, man,
It's possible, yeah, but you have
New
to add the widget to your dashboard.
Okay,
if you didn't
I put
already.
down yeah. Sometimes I'm just a boomer.
Oh, by the way, I have this awesome Ubisoft cup.
Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I stole it from the office.
Nice. Okay.
So that's why the stock is down. Now, of course, I
The
didn't
poll
steal
is
it.
already active. It's not.
It is on YouTube, and I voted.
Oh, thanks. Someone already did it. Is that you, Wesley? Nice. Thanks. So yeah, we're right now at 70%. Who's like, I liked it looking back at Mirage, and I agree. I especially loved the combat way more than I anticipated, and I thought they really did some cool stuff with. Yeah, it felt
with the stealth.
Yeah, no, for me the stealth was really the wake up call that we needed new things, and that's why I'm excited for Shadows. That is of course gonna bring finally those new moves and like, yeah, being able to remove light to stay in the dark and stuff like that. Like, for Mirage, for me, was like, we can't do this anymore. It's nice to have the tools again, but I don't want to, like, whistle to have a guard run into a grass again. I know it's kind of part of it, but I prefer, like, having way more different tools, and it seems that Shadows is gonna deliver that, so that has me very excited. But yeah, I think the thing that you were alluding to in particular, that kind of makes me not worried, but it, like, I'm not sure if it's healthy, where, again, so they just released Outlaws, and yeah, I mean, the game is, like, fine. It's good. I think more people will pick it up when it's, like, at the end of this year, and then I'm sure people will like it for, like, a lower price, maybe. I see a lot of praise for it, but I also see maybe lower reviews than I sometimes expected from a big game like this. But I think,
and it's actually getting review bombed on Metacritic again.
Yeah, but that's, I mean, I don't think we should, like, look at the Metacritic user scores. I'm not sure if that's, like, interesting, but because, yeah, they are always being manipulated. But the point is that I do think that this should have been like a slam dunk. When we heard, like, even before this game was announced, the premise of an open world Star Wars game from Ubisoft had a lot of people's, like, kind of imagination run wild. And to be here and be like, yeah, it's a success, but it also, like, I think in the UK, and this only physical sales, but it only sold 15% more than Avatar in the first week. And to be honest, and Avatar did not even have early access. So the game was out longer, Outlaws, compared to Avatar, if you compare the sales, which is kind of crazy. Because you would think, like, if you asked me before the Avatar release, which game is going to be way more popular, I would say Star Wars, hands down. But it seems that Avatar is kind of like, it's still closer than they, I think, anticipated. So we have this article here. JP Morgan, like one of the investor bankings, is like slashing the sales forecast by 2 million, predicting 5.5 million units sold by March 2025. Okay, Outlaws.
I mean, 5.5 million games, that's a lot. But if you take into account that this awesome Star Wars license is the carrying factor for the game.
Star Jedi Fallen Order sold, I think, 10 million in like a few months.
Yeah.
It came out in, I think, it sold over 10 million units by March 2020, which was like 5 months after launch. And Star Wars Outlaws, according to their predictions, which of course based on all of research, is gonna sell half of that in like a longer period of time. That's not good. Then we have the X-Deviant thing, where it's like, the game is not... It had a great start, but people are losing interest, so they got till Season 3 to kind of turn that around. But then we get to Assassin's Creed Shadows, will be crucial to making this financial year this fiscal year a financial success. Despite the game already seeing the fair share of online discourse, our sources suggest its pre-order numbers are strong. And that's, of course, great news. Like, having a successful Assassin's Creed series and a successful Ubisoft is good for everyone, and for us as fans of the series as well.
They need that.
Yeah, but that is kind of the thing where I'm like, but are we now, like, my things are already, because Outlaws, all the other things they wanted this financial year. So if you're not familiar, April 2024 is when their financial year started. At the end of March is when it ends. So in this 12-month period, they had X-Deviant, they still have the Prince of Persia DLC, they had some Skull and Bones seasons, Rainbow Six Siege is still doing very well in the background, so that's like keeping them afloat as well. But in terms of big releases, they had Star Wars Outlaws and Assassin's Creed Shadows. And it seems that Outlaws might, and we will have to wait and see, maybe if they do a sale, people pick it up again, maybe, I don't know, at the end of the year it looks better than it looks right now. Still though, I kind of worry that they're now banking everything on Shadows, and that might mean that they're gonna nickel and dime us more, so that they're gonna be like, okay, shit, this is now the biggest thing we have. Outlaws, we lost, like, let's try and balance things out. Let's go a bit more aggressive on the item packs or whatever, battle passes, or everything that we don't really want. Like, I think it's gonna be very interesting with, of course, Assassin's Creed Infinity and the Animus Hub, how they're gonna monetize everything. We, of course, know, probably if you just buy the game, there will be a store thing, and I think you can probably just ignore it, just like the other games. But still, I am curious if they might be like, okay, we really need Assassin's Creed to hit on maybe bigger levels than we first wanted to, so let's, squeeze those people dry. That's kind of where, and maybe it's like, maybe that's not gonna happen, maybe, I hope not, because that would destroy some goodwill, of course, but that's kind of where it is unhealthy for Ubisoft to just have these two main things that are doing well, Rainbow Six Siege and Assassin's Creed, that they are reliant so much on them to keep the other stuff afloat as well. So that's where kind of my maybe worry is coming from. It would be way better if Outlaws was a huge success as well. And yeah, I mean, that's why they're in Outlaws no microtransactions at launch, because they are like, we don't have the goodwill here. If we can get a lot of goodwill because people are not like very like already very much in this series, like they're not running out to buy this game, so let's make the barrier to entry, let's make sure that there are no bad headlines about how the item store in Outlaws is full of stuff. Let's try to like limit that so more people hopefully buy the game. With Shadows though, they know, again, pre-orders are already strong. they can get away with more probably, and they don't have to call Disney to ask if anything is alright. They can do anything they want. So that's where kind of my worry is coming from. Do you think that makes sense or not?
It kind of makes sense, of course. I mean, with Outlaws, they have proven that they can decide to postpone microtransactions. They are actually coming out with a first DLC,
yeah, I think
I
in
think.
the fall, in November maybe.
Yeah,
or
so they are likely gonna have a lot of financial damage by postponing that for better press. Of course, because
December.
people are
100%.
always complaining about microtransactions with a good reason, of course. In single player open world games, you don't need that. For Assassin's Creed Shadows, I don't think that they will likely make new decisions right now based on the lack of success of Star Wars, because it's too late. I think they will not change their plans for early microtransactions, etc. right now. But they might, of course, take into account that raising prices for future DLCs or maybe item packs by just a few euros, that could really make a difference, like selling them for $22 instead of 20, and maybe almost as many people are getting it, increasing their revenue for that.
Yeah, and
Um,
we know maybe about a subscription they want to do. Like, of course, GTA Online has a subscription, and Fortnite as well. Like, all these sort of live service games have these subscriptions where you get, like, a benefit at the end of the month and maybe some other boost or something. So they might look at that. But that's, again, where my issue is coming from. Like, they are now expecting, at least you can look at it from that angle, they're now expecting this camp to kind of like make up for all the other things that are maybe not doing well. And I don't want that burden to be on Assassin's Creed as a series, as it might hurt it in the long run.
I mean, that burden has been on Assassin's Creed forever.
Oh, that's
because,
right. Yeah.
Because Ubisoft's most successful thing is Assassin's Creed, of course, and Rainbow Six is the second, I think. Because, they actually, as you said, earn a lot of that because it's a successful multiplayer title, and it has been releasing content for years, which is great for them to support other things and other ideas with the money they earned from that. But in the latest time, they have shown that not all of their ideas are worth coming to life, maybe. And a lot of them have been thrown away already. So I think the burden is on Assassin's Creed to make Ubisoft a successful company again. And the burden is not the best for the game itself, maybe. But they still, of course, have to make it a good and fair game. So, because at one point, nobody will trust the company anymore if they like sell stupid stuff
All the time.
make a super expensive subscription for a single player offline game, which wouldn't make sense. And of course there will be some kind of monetization with the Animus Hub, aka Assassin's Creed Infinity, but that's a different thing because they will throw in the social aspect of flexing with skins.
No, exactly. I mean, I think you can look at it from multiple angles, because you could also be like, okay, but because they tried many things. Again, I see people in the chat say it as well. Yeah, X Defiant not doing well. Outlaws is off to a not as great start as they maybe hoped. Far Cry 6 did pretty well, but not as like it did not come close to Far Cry 5. So they're kind of figuring things out, but maybe because they're like, okay, Assassin's Creed is our, like, we make the most money there, let's not ruin it. So maybe that does mean that they are gonna be a bit more, careful with what they do, because if they ruin that, then they're in a ton of trouble.
Then they are ruined.
Yeah, exactly. And it could also be, you could also look at it from a, I mean, they really have to balance it, but you could also be like, okay, but because, just like, I mean, it's kind of the case for all these other publishers as well. Like, if you look at EA, EA Sports FC is kind of what's making them the most money. For Take-Two, it's NBA, GTA Online. It's mostly just a few big titles that just keep making money, and then they try a lot of different things, and that all do not really work out. But it might also mean that that's of course the promise of the Animus Hub, that we are getting more smaller experiences throughout the year, So we won't have like a drought that we kind of had from Valhalla till now, if you don't count like kind of Mirage as like a smaller game. Like we did not have a lot of like big titles or different titles for 4 years, which is a long time. That's gonna change because they kind of need it. They need to have this constant stream of Assassin's Creed content to also keep them afloat. So you could also look at it from an interesting angle. If you want more Assassin's Creed, I mean, you're gonna get it because it's what's making them the most money as well. Of course,
Yeah, the flood is just starting.
Oh yeah. It's like the water is like against it's happening. It's gonna go crazy, and that's why I'm still like super excited to hear what that future plan is.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're making some great points there.
I think they are depending on the series, but they will most likely make the best out of it and not milk us as players.
Let's hope so.
Because they have to sell more games in the future, and we won't buy them at some point, I think. Well, maybe. I still watch the Star Wars movies, even though...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Like that's gonna be the biggest challenge for them to not like overdo it. A yearly release, like a yearly big game, was like at one point, because they weren't different enough, apart from of course the setting and the characters. That was not helping them. So their tactic now, of course, is okay. But what if we still make an Assassin's Creed every year, but have it be a different gameplay experience? So now we get the RPG next year, the multiplayer game. Year after that, Hexe, which should be quite different. 2027, maybe the AC1 remake as like the for the 20th anniversary. So, I mean, they're gonna try a lot of different things, and I do think that might work. I mean, Call of Duty is also still successful with the yearly releases, and I mean, it's different. It's a competitive game, but there is still, and people are playing now Fortnite or GTA Online all the time as well. So
yeah,
it's gonna be interesting if they are able to figure it out. But
and there will, of course, be a competitive online AC game. So that might rescue them if it's a nice one. Yeah.
Yeah. No.
If it's a nice one, of course, only.
That's gonna be the go. I mean, it's gonna be if you're right now watching and you're like a huge fan and you've been able to keep up with all the Assassin's Creed content, there will be a point where you cannot. I think there will be a point where you're like, oh damn, I cannot play the new season for this multiplayer game and play the new single player DLC for Shadows, and Hexe is coming out, and they now have a Netflix mobile game, and it's got at one point you gotta make choices. I think we will reach a point where you cannot play everything anymore.
Oversaturating the market is quite easy. Flooding it with content is an easy way to do so, of course. But maybe the portions of the releases are that small so you can handle it with your free time. Maybe like a 5-hour DLC each month, or I don't know. Yeah, of course, with the multiplayer title, most likely you can spend hundreds of hours per month in the multiplayer title. But maybe you can finish the season pass in the multiplayer title in 20 hours or so. I don't know. It's tough to balance, and we have to see what those kind of games are. There will be, of course, DLCs for Assassin's Creed Shadows. There will be multiplayer title. Maybe there will be some Assassin's Creed Jade. And then there will be Hexe as well. Is it still alive? That's a good question. I mean, I really liked it. So
yeah,
I'm extremely curious.
It was
because
so far. It was really like...
It was far developed, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, maybe there's some legal issues or so in the background. We don't know.
We also have a Racer here on Twitch asking a question. I'm going to ask a question. Sony has an event where they will show Ghost of Tsushima 2 looking incredible and driving gamers crazy. Could that be a problem for AC Shadows? I personally, because we all know Ghost 2 is not going to come out before Shadows. I mean, there are now rumors that Sony is going to do a state of play in September. And I don't think they're going to show Ghost 2 there. Like, that would be a showcase type of situation, right? So, I never thought this was going to happen, but it might be that we will not see Ghost 2 before Shadows. But do you think that if they do a teaser with some gameplay, people are going to compare it 100%?
PS5 Pro versus PS5, Ghost of Tsushima 2.
Ghost of Tsushima 2 versus Shadows. Do you think that will hurt the game if like a trailer comes out, or do you think that won't matter?
I think it might even be a benefit for Ghost because people are then fixed on
For
that
Shadows.
genre again. Yeah, they say, "Oh, I want a Japanese open world RPG. Ah, this is coming out. I'm playing it now, and then I'm more hyped for Ghost 2 in a year or two." I think that might also gain some traction for that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're right. Yeah, I think because people, if they see it, they want it now. And if it's like 2026, like again,
Mm,
I 5 years after Ghost of Tsushima 1, I thought that was gonna happen, but it's so quiet, and they had the Icky Island DLC, of course, so maybe it's 2026. I think that would be wild. I hope it's next year, but like there is a chance we will at least have to wait a full
yeah.
year from this point for Ghost 2. So if you then want something, yeah, to fill that need, Shadows is out this year. So yeah, I agree. I think it's gonna actually benefit them more than
But yeah,
hurt them.
Ghost 2 would be awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't
maybe.
hear anything, and so yeah, but they likely gonna keep it super secret.
Yeah, I mean, Sony has been like really with announcing games, and then 3 months later they are out. So maybe we won't see it until the summer, and then it's out at the end of the year or something. But I think where Ghost 2 will hurt Shadows is during DLC, because Shadows will of course be supported for more than 2 years. Like it's gonna be a longer cycle than Valhalla. I think at one point, if Ghost 2 is out, it's this PS5 exclusive. Shadows, of course, has to run on Series S as well. Like they have to run it on multiple platforms. It's always the case. Exclusives look better. Ghost 1, I think you could argue, already looks better on PS5 than Shadows from the footage we've seen. Hope it's still it's different. Of course, the scope of Shadows seems way larger, like way more things going on than Ghost 1. But I do think that if Ghost 1 is out and then Shadows drops a DLC, that it will be for some people like, I'm not sure if I can go back, or you do see that, yeah, it goes to in some departments it's like further, or maybe I don't know, Ghost 2 probably won't have DLC. Maybe you're like, oh, I want more. You could talk, yeah. Either way, I don't think it's gonna hurt them. Only if they came out at the same time.
Yeah. So if I was Ubisoft, I would then time my DLCs to not be released close to
Oh
Ghost
yeah,
of Tsushima 2,
100%. Yeah,
and then it's fine. I mean,
yeah, exactly.
maybe they will stick to the Origins DLC cycle. Maybe they will stick to the Valhalla cycle, which was far more spread out.
Let's hope not. They had 4 years to prepare some DLC. I don't want to wait till May for the first. That's a cool prediction, by the way. When do we think the first DLC is coming out?
Yeah, that's a great prediction, of course. Should we
take
take that prediction
poll,
and everyone makes one?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a poll as well. So if we
Oh wow!
like,
By the way, the poll you just ended, AC Mirage was only liked by 56%.
yeah, a lot of people that voted first,
Liked it, and then
yeah,
it changed. Really, because I liked it for what it was. It was not the best AC ever, but it was fun, and I enjoyed it. I think
totally.
it was a fair thing.
I think, and that's also something I wanna throw in here. Like, let's make another poll for the DLC in a moment. But one thing I wanted to do is insert something else, because I've been doing some research. And one of the things that I looked into, and that's all, because what is your hype level for the game right now? And is it similar, more or less, compared to Valhalla at this moment, or Odyssey? Like, if you compare it to that.
It's less compared to both. I'm less hyped for Shadows than I was for Valhalla. Valhalla was my most hyped game, I would say.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the content was so dense and we had so much to talk about through the whole promo phase, I think. And we had that early play session where we could play like 4 hours and have a lot of content to talk about. And right now we don't have anything, so the game is still very close. And I think I'm super happy and I'm excited about Shadows, but I'm not as hyped as I was for Valhalla. I'm not as hyped as I was for Odyssey. Because in the end, I don't know. I think I kind of know what I will get. And maybe that's as well because I'm working in the games branch for 7 years now. So that might also be a factor.
Yeah,
We
exactly.
we are like saturated for ourselves as well. And yeah, right now it's just I'm excited for the stealth system, the new one, for the weather system as well. Looking forward to that, the seasons. And I'm excited, but I'm not extremely hyped. I'm not like sitting on my chair and I can't wait one more second to play it. That was the feeling I had back then with Valhalla. I was like almost shaking when I first put my hands on it in a Parsec session. That was so exciting.
I'm curious. I'm gonna make this a poll. Like, if we're because I'm on the same boat, and I will explain why in a second. But let me say, were you most hyped for Shadows or Valhalla? More for Shadows, pre-launch. More for Valhalla, pre-launch. I hope that is kind of like clear for people. Boom. Curious what this.
Curious, yeah.
This will be. Were you more hyped for Shadows? I mean, it's kind of like. We have you have to of course be like true to yourself because we now know what Valhalla turned out to be. Yeah, but like go back 4 years. It's September 2020. Valhalla is launching around the same time as Shadows. It was back then still I think in the same week as Shadows, but then Valhalla of course moved 1 week to launch with the Series X. And yeah, but I think also what kind of what is not fair to Shadows, because we've seen quite some footage, but we've also not seen a lot.
Yeah,
if you understand.
There are still huge question marks, not only on the map but in our heads, regarding RPG systems, progression systems, etc. So much we still don't know. And that I would love to know.
They're super focused still on the setting. Like, look how cool it looks. Yeah, we have 2 characters, and yeah, they both play different. And have some stealth
I mean, the dev talk we talked about last week.
Yeah,
basically everything was already said before, and I mean there were some details, but in general they didn't present anything too new. And I would love to have seen some insights on progression, etc.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm worried that that isn't a thing in the game because, Star Wars Outlaws doesn't have like deep RPG mechanics, and that's something I love, which I would love to see as well in Assassin's Creed Shadows.
Yeah, no, I'm expecting that in Assassin's Creed Shadows. Like that's still where I'm kind of like sometimes getting question marks from people where like that doesn't belong in an Assassin's Creed game. First of all, even before Origins there were a lot of RPG elements, but also can we RPG fans not be happy that we finally get another RPG? Do we have to like fight for RPG elements? And I just hope that when we finally see those systems that there's more depth than we think. But really by this point, pre-launch, we already had the Valhalla, and I can like look it up. That's like kind of fun to look at. The Valhalla gameplay overview. I think it's this one.
Oh, and by the way, the poll is still up. If you guys didn't vote so far, there have been 130 votes on YouTube right now, and it's balanced.
Okay.
Like, people are pretty balanced when it
lying.
Comes to the hype.
They're lying.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe they're not searching their feelings, young Padawan.
Close your eyes. Go back 4 years ago. No, but back in July, we already had this trailer for Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Gameplay overview trailer is what it said. And this already showed way more. And we already played the game. But yeah, this showed way more than what we've seen now for Shadows. For Shadows, they're kind of like
3 months before the release.
This was July. Yeah, this was July.
And
so
we saw
we had
those raids. We saw the fights.
the settlement, I
Um,
think already here. We
mhm.
know, like, because of course Shadows will have they have when they like at the start of this year, I think maybe even before they made their whole marketing plan, and it's like, okay, we have the Ubisoft Forward in June, we're gonna announce it in May, and then we have some like Gamescom question mark because they didn't do a lot, and then September, October we have some other things as well, and at one point they're gonna talk about the settlement or the hideout for Shadows. Like because I also when like being able to interview them, it's very clear what they like they they know everything when you talk to them the first time, but they kind of they put locks on a lot of like subjects, and then every time you talk to them, those locks open up, and you suddenly can ask the same question that I already asked a month ago, but now they suddenly have an answer. Like they're very protective sometimes about what they share, what they keep a secret, so that throughout the marketing cycle pre-launch, they always have something new to say. And again, like
Makes sense,
seeing,
of course. Yeah.
yeah, 100%, and seeing this, like we got a lot of info in this trailer already,
Mhm.
even a menu.
I mean, yeah, that overview alone with the power levels, right?
Yeah,
And that kind of led to the fact to know that there will be power levels, that we have RPG system, a deep one,
I
and
think they're gonna
right,
show the menu in a second as well. I'm not sure.
yeah, might be
But
the
we have not
case.
even seen an enemy camp. We've seen the infiltrating the castle, but I mean
Mhm.
this, like these bandit camps that you
These
come
basic
across.
ones,
Yeah,
yeah.
we have not seen them yet. Like we really have not seen a lot about Shadows. If you look at this trailer, like they're showing abilities, all the. I really hope that they have the same amount of enemies in Shadows, because that was of course one of the big things they were like kind of promoting before launch, where they were like, yeah, we have 25 different enemy types. Here,
Mhm.
whoa,
Oh yeah, yeah. Super interesting with the whole
oh my god,
inventory visible. Yeah,
yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
Oh, but
it's like
this,
a gold mine of content.
but this was and I'm just so, to kind of go back to the topic of this stream, kind of worried that like this is what we saw when we played at Ubisoft Forward at Valhalla. There were no perks on these items at all. Like it was visit the blacksmith with, and this I think tungsten or something to
Mhm.
unlock, and then you can like upgrade it. Um, did they? I think they ended up changing this, right? Because this still shows that it's like a bear playstyle. This shows that it's like the hunter playstyle, or it's blue as hunter, I think, and this was assassin. So they
Mhm.
changed it because, of course, in the full game, it was the rarity of the item that you saw instead of the color of the
Yeah,
playstyle.
right.
That's
They changed
crazy.
that up. Yeah.
4 months before launch, they were, but that's of course what we saw. Like it really felt like the whole RPG elements were like kind of an afterthought. They have the store here already. Usually they kind of
Mm-mm.
hide that. Hey,
I
Mister,
mean,
good to
they
see
were
you.
transparent about it, which is nice, I guess.
I guess, yeah. I mean, we know by now this was the third game, of course, that kind of had the store in that
Yeah.
spot. So, but yeah, there's a lot in this video, and it's like still, I can't wait for this video that for Shadows.
Foreshadows.
Yeah, and like the
Chips
dual
Cola.
shields,
Yeah.
and they even did like a second one as well, where they, because that was crazy for Valhalla, they did not um tell us about Jotunheim and Asgard until like a month before launch, or like a few
Mm.
weeks. We did not know that there was this whole mythical story arc as well, which was crazy. Yeah,
Yeah, that
never used
was
this.
quite a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, the social stealth system
It's
was like
great, amazing.
pushed more in the marketing plan than it was in reality.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
like
I'm
as if you're gonna do like kind of this discoveries tour stuff. It takes
I
so
mean,
long.
yeah, they chose it to show
Yeah,
this
of
is still
course.
in Assassin's Creed. Hey, buy it if you're an AC fan. But
We
they
all
likely
know better
overpromoted
now.
this.
We
I
know
hope
better
they don't
now.
overpromote the weather and the season system.
Yeah.
I hope that will work. Oh yeah, they already showed some boss fights.
I mean, we could play this
with
already.
the
We
mythical
could play
creatures.
this one already. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna show the Daughters of Lyrian, I think, in a moment. Here we
The
saw
riddles.
some. Yeah.
And of course the loot.
Ooh.
Of course.
Yeah, it's
You
gonna be.
gotta
The same.
collect some wealth.
It's gonna be the same.
Yeah, but I'm just hoping that this won't be like the action game type that Star Wars Outlaws is. I mean, I'm having fun with Star Wars Outlaws, but I'm hoping for an RPG Assassin's Creed, which is the thing that brought me to Assassin's Creed. I mean, it's not the popular opinion.
The fact that you
yeah.
can already use different weapons is gonna make the combat way more exciting than Outlaws, where you
with the
use
3
your
blaster modules with
because
alternatives. Yeah,
because that's the thing. Like going out in the world for Outlaws and knowing that you won't be able to find a new weapon, which is like one of the biggest, which should have the biggest impact on the gameplay. That kind of ruins, I think, the fun of exploration. But still, I am curious how this is all gonna work in Shadows. There are still so many questions. Like, what if Naue opens the wealth chest and gets like a weapon that she cannot use and only Yasuke? Like, is that a thing? You would think so, right? They will put things in the same spot.
Maybe,
But,
yeah.
And that sucks. Like, I completed this whole puzzle. Turns out I cannot even use the weapon. Only Yasuke can use it.
That would be bad. I mean, they could bring a solution to that by adding a unique crafting material, which can be found 2 times in the world, and you can use it the first time for crafting an item for Naui, and the second time crafting for Yasuke, or vice versa.
For both, like in general, that you just find this crafting material and then go back to the hideout to this blacksmith.
Yeah,
and then.
But it wouldn't make sense to find 2 items per stash. I don't know.
No. Yeah. But then, if they both use the same resource, then you don't have that issue.
Yeah.
But then you get the Star Wars Outlaws problem where you only find crafting materials, and then it's like, yeah, that's not exciting either. But yeah, we saw this stuff as well, and this will not be in Shadows. Yeah. This will not be in like the crazy.
It will likely not be in it, but likely in the DLCs.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, at the latest.
Yeah, there
but I mean, it's still an Ubisoft game. They always put some like you're on mushroom mission.
Yeah, right. I mean, I kind of hope they do, because otherwise. And we had already footage of that. Otherwise, we're kind of getting that strong. Let's see where it is. You remember from the Death Diary? Where did?
Yeah.
Oh, here. Yeah. This part. Like this, then you only get like big samurai guy. And that's why I like the Daughters of Lyrian. They were actually kind of challenging. They were like. So, yeah,
they were.
I don't want to like fight tall samurai guy everywhere.
It was nice to have some enemies in the game that really were a challenge.
Yeah.
Especially also that roaming Viking bosses. I don't know what they were called again, but yeah, that was fun as well.
Yeah.
So, but they will likely have some kind of OP bosses, maybe roaming guys that chase you. Will likely be the case. Not with a Nemesis system like in Odyssey, but yeah.
I mean, I still have the prediction, right, that there's gonna be a mercenary system. Like, I really hope they looked at Odyssey and we're like, what did people like? And I think most people like the mercenary system. Is that another poll?
Yeah. Yeah, but the thing with the Nemesis system, it was stolen from
it was not really a Nemesis system, though. It was like you were working your way up. I
think Warner actually sued them.
No, really? Because the Nemesis system is, I think, very based on AI, where they kind of like know your, they kind of like, they really remember you if you like fought them. Like it's like on a way deeper level. And these mercenaries, they had no brain whatsoever. They were just cool enemies you could fight. So.
Yeah, I just found this article. Ubisoft sue because of popular. Oh no, this was the crew.
Were they sued for the crew?
I think so. System would be awesome. Mercenary system would be awesome. Yeah. Going back to the Shadow of Mordor.
I'm gonna do
The good
another
old
poll.
days.
So again, people are more hyped now for Shadows than for Valhalla pre-launch, which again, I'm like, I need to see more. I want to be hyped. I'm more hyped for the idea that that I can't wait to do the weekly reset stream again and just have everyone, because that's kind of what I'm not sure if you feel the same, because we of course cover a lot of games, but it feels that there's always sort of some people go along for the ride for this new game, and then some people go along for the ride for that new game. For Assassin's Creed, at least on my channel, it's really like everyone is on board. At least that's what it seems like. That's the biggest,
like a community gathering.
Yeah. You really come together, and I'm just so excited for that, and to see what they have planned post launch, and to kind of find interest, like the Nodens arc in Valhalla, where we had to hit the stone with the Excalibur. Like,
that was crazy.
Yeah, secrets like that. I really hope Shadows has as well, because Odyssey did not really have those kinds of secrets.
No, but they had the legendary live events every Tuesday with the mercenary.
Exactly, they had
with
a lot
the new
of
items.
And now we don't have to do the naval stuff. Thank God. Thank God.
But maybe something different, like a sake
drinking
tournament.
No, please. I don't want to mash my buttons to.
By the way, when is the Sabak standalone game coming out?
I don't think they should do that. I mean, all those standalone card games or like Gwent, like they're all they cannot sustain themselves. Like Orlok, I think as a physical game that made sense, but apart from that, I mean, then you need one of those tables where they kind of move the cards. Like that would be kind of cool to get, like physical, but.
Yeah, of course. By the way, it's 4 p.m. Why is your package not arriving today?
Good question. Maybe they're late. We're gonna figure out.
Is there something coming?
Stay till the end, and you will know.
Just for the guys that are not there every week.
Or
Jordan
maybe
gets a package every stream.
Yeah, no, that's right, and only on Tuesday. And sometimes the bell is ringed for the neighbors, but the postman knows I'm always home, so
That's a bad thing.
I'm like the best neighbor for all these people here. They know, okay, my package will arrive safely, because
was the same for me when I didn't have like this external office, and I was the post guy as well. Everyone was ringing when I was recording. I was blah 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 blah, cling-a-ling. Oh,
they at one point they at one point know. But here, Warren, real quick, do we know if Shadows will have mythical creatures to fight, big tigers, dragons? I mean, they've been very kind of clear that the mythical part of it won't be as big as Valhalla and Odyssey in particular. So again, maybe like Frankie Boy here was saying, maybe there will be like 1 or 2 mushroom type situations, or like a
sake type.
Maybe just like in Assassin's Creed Origins, where we had the snake, like that it will be like one main mission. I hope they do that. They always kind of do that, so that would kind of change things up. It would be wild, at least, if they are not gonna like explore the Japanese mythology, but I'm sure they will, but probably not in the main game, to kind of have something for post launch as well. But I just can't wait to see that post launch trailer. Like, what will it be better than Valhalla? Like a small. I wanted to record like a live reaction to the post launch trailer for Valhalla, and I just ended up not uploading it because I was like, is this it? Remember that post launch trailer where they were showing the river raids, and it was just footage of like river raids in the main game, and they were showing concept art for these DLCs. While if you look at the post-launch trailer for like Odyssey and for Origins, they had the Trials of the Gods and Argas, like the Cyclopses, and the Lost Tales of Greece. Like they had a lot of stuff to show already, because they were working far ahead. For Valhalla, they did not really do that. So I hope they learned from that.
I mean, having some nice mythical stuff to show off with those giant creatures, that always looks great, of course, like a challenge.
Exactly.
But having just like a normal human with the katana, I don't know if that is impressive. So
big
yeah,
big
you
samurai
gotta be somehow
guy,
creative.
10, yeah.
And
Um,
maybe they will show off microtransactions, Kappa.
I mean, I want those monthly videos back. Those this month in Assassin's Creed. It's wild. I mean, for Valhalla, I think it made sense that they did not do that because then it would be like a video sometimes with nothing in it, nothing happening today this week, or this week in Assassin's Creed Valhalla. For Odyssey, every month. That was crazy.
It was awesome, yeah.
Okay, we're almost at the end of the show. I still
Yeah,
don't hear
we're-
a package, so that's good. Let's see what else we got. I think we kind of blazed over it. Is there anything else you want to say regarding the main topic? Like, I think my takeaway would be, I just, now that Outlaws is out, it feels like Ubisoft kind of wanted to, focus on one game before really putting the spotlight on the other. I really hope
Makes
they,
sense, yeah.
at one point, are like turning things up. I will probably at one point reach a point where I'm like, I don't want to see anymore, but I just want to know what the scale of this game is, and I'm kind of tired of the scenery shots and the Naue doing parkour and so. I mean, looks great, but what will we actually be doing in the game?
Show us something, not what we
Exactly.
already know. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I had to make a prediction, I would say like 1 month ahead of the release is like the latest they can start really showing off stuff. So they better start now. I think maybe good point that they want to give Star Wars room to breathe, and I think 2 weeks is just fine.
Yeah.
And then they should be starting off. By the way, when is starting the Star Wars Outlaws story pack?
Fall, they said. So yeah, November. Or something.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's likely coming out 2 weeks before.
I think they're gonna do
for
like a
Shadows
big
also.
push, like at Black Friday, where they're like base game $30, gold edition maybe. Yeah, no, really, and then like story pack 1 is out, microtransaction store in the game, and then kind of go like for a second wind.
50% off of all blaster skins.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I would hope for like maybe they put something out in 2 weeks or so, and it just makes sense that they keep their mouths shut because they don't want to damage Star Wars too much. They have Disney in the background and want to make Disney happy, of course, as well. So they can keep on making Star Wars and Avatar games forever.
No, they don't want to though, because the team making this Avatar and Outlaws is now moving on to the Division 3. So I think it's the end of the Disney partnership. And like looking back at it, I don't think it has brought Ubisoft the success that they hoped for, I think. But that's of course kind of up to them as well, yeah.
I think I was happy that someone else than EA Games did like a
a
Star Wars game.
Yeah, exactly.
But now that I think Jedi series is just better, and yeah, I'm curious on the Division 3 can be awesome as well. I mean, Division is great, so they get back to what they once did, and
it's just overall crazy that again, like Valhalla was their last slam dunk, so will Shadows change that? I do think it won't sell as well as Valhalla at launch, but Odyssey, if we remember, was pretty soft at launch as well. It of course also launched a few weeks before Red Dead Redemption 2. But then the word of mouth was just so good for Odyssey. Like a lot of people before launch were like, "This is not Assassin's Creed. Why am I Spartan kicking people?" I made videos where like you can still be an assassin because people were like, "Can I only be a Spartan? What's up with this game?" And yeah, they of course learned from that, and that's why we saw that social stealth section in Valhalla. They're like, "Oh shit, we're not gonna do that again." And of course, finally with Mirage and now with Shadows, they're learning. They see that they have to include the more traditional Assassin's Creed stuff as well, which is great.
I mean, they said they could like implement something they learned from Mirage into Shadows, but not from the but not the feedback from the community yet because it was too late.
Yeah, it was
in the
already too
development.
late. Exactly. But they knew. Like, I think before Mirage, like, that's where Mirage came from, of course, that they knew people wanted to more return to form. And I still hope that that Mirage team is getting a real, like, chance to go back to what people actually wanted. Because Mirage, it's still looking back on it, I liked it, but it felt like a half step overall, of course. And that was always the intent, but yeah. I think they saw that there is still an audience for that. Okay. We
All
have,
right.
of course, predictions at the end
Prediction
of the
time.
show. So you
Bing, 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 bing.
already...
I'm prepared again, yeah.
That's insane. Did you already make one for next week?
No, not yet, because next week I have to forget about it and then make one up on the fly.
Okay,
so-
that sounds more like you. No, but of course, for people who don't know, at the end of an episode, we make a prediction for what we think will be in the final game, and then the person that wins has to buy one Helix item for the other person, like one item set.
So, yeah, let me start for the prediction. My prediction for the game is that it will have a last mission in the main story. Of course, it will have one. That's a prediction now. Just joking. That story mission, the last main story mission, will be with both characters in that mission, and certain parts of the mission will be tied to those characters. So we have a part like Yasuko has to storm the gates, then switching to Naue. You can't choose. You will switch to Naue.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
forced.
Yasuko will die. She has to crawl over him and rescue him. Then switch back to Yasuke. Going into combat. Smash. Boom. Spam.
Wasn't this
Being
always,
in a fight.
Was this also in Syndicate, the final mission?
I
Feels like
think,
it was.
yeah. They with a supernatural guy in the down
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that-
exactly.
that
But also on the
chapel or
roof, I
so.
think, because Evie was going more like undercover, and then Jacob was like on the roof, I think, taking care of all these.
Yeah, might be
enemies.
the case.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that will be the case. And we can not choose who to play in which part in that mission.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think
I
that's
mean,
a
they
pretty safe
advertise it.
bet.
Huh?
But they advertised like some missions you will like. It makes sense that it's gonna be the tutorial where you get to play both characters like individually, and then the end where they like. It would be cool if they finally like. That's what kind of what was like the biggest letdown for Avatar, and in the DLC it was still the case. There was no AI for your teammates, so even in these huge like storming the RDA facility missions, it was always, oh, I'm alone again. And then I would see a cutscene where an Ikron was flying and grabbing a soldier, throwing them away, and then they were gone again when I got control of my character. I hope there will be a part where it's like you see Yasuke fighting with the gear and stuff that you made for him, but you are forced to play Naue, or that you're like on the roof and then you see Yasuke on the ground kind of fighting. That would be kind of cool to have something like that near the end. But,
Yeah.
But for me,
Do you think the prediction is okay, or is it too safe bet?
both characters will certain part. No, I think it's good. You can do that.
Okay.
I hope they namely
Perfect.
don't do that to change things up, because again they already did it with their previous game.
Nah, they stick to what they did. Always.
Yeah. I think you're probably right. Damn, I had one as well. Oh yeah. There will not be an enemy in the game that Naue cannot defeat. So we of course saw that part.
One thing.
That part. Oh. What?
If there is like a mission tied to Yasuke, and she then can't defeat the enemy because you can't play her in that mission, does that count?
No.
Or-
No. It has to be where people are like. It has to be where, for example, an open world boss does something, and Like, there's no video online. Or, like, there's no one was able to take out this enemy with Naue. That is really like, oh, you have to play Yasuke to beat this person. I'm gonna say there's no enemy like that. Let's see where that part is.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, here.
We talked to that
Yeah,
with a naked samurai.
Yeah, so this one, like, here, they're kind of like, okay, and Naue cannot work, so pick Yasuke, and then he's suddenly naked, and then you can kill him. Of course, he stripped him of the armor, but my prediction is you can still win this.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think there's gonna be an enemy that Naue cannot defeat.
Yeah, so the prediction is like there will not be an enemy in the game that Naue cannot defeat, but it's not related to Yasuke only missions.
Yeah, of course, because then we don't know. We would not know if Naue would be able to defeat this because we cannot try it. Like, we have to be able to try the enemy with Naue.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that's a good prediction. I hope so. I mean, they kind of advertise it that Yasuke would fit better for certain fight, and that makes sense, but it would also be fun and very engaging for me to have this challenge to finally beat that mega samurai with thick armor and like slash him 500 times with Naue, dodging every single hit he's doing. And yeah, now it's Yasuke coming in for the help.
Yeah, or here they're like, oh, this is too difficult for Yasuke, so then...
Switch.
And this, I do think, is kind of... Because I don't think it's going to work like this. It's not going to be like,
Switch.
and I can, boom, switch. No, this will be die, loading screen, showing your character, going to the menu, picking Naue. Hopefully Naue is close by. You play Naue, you go back to the camp. There's gonna be way more downtime than simply being like, right on the D-pad, and now I'm Naue taking out these enemies. So
yeah, most likely that's gonna be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
What an episode.
Yeah, nice. Hope everyone had a great time. Of course, we will be back very, very soon, next week. And
with the topic Concord, of course, yeah.
Yeah. We... damn. It will
and
not
Skull
be
and
around
Bones.
anymore.
Skull and Bones beat Concord. I kind of laughed about that comment when I read it in the chat.
Yeah, really.
Yeah,
that's still crazy. But on the other hand, Concord quadruple A. Or Skull and Bones. Concord.
Skull and Bones was quadruple A.
Yeah. Concord
AC Shadows will likely be 5A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5A. Hopefully we have some like new stuff. It would be awesome if there's like a new Dev Diary this coming week. That would be exciting. But yeah, we will of course have all the recent news, and otherwise I'm sure we will have topics to talk about, and of course maybe we will insert more of your questions. So thanks for joining as always, and hope you had a good one. Of course, check out Frankie Boys' channel for some Star Wars Outlaws things, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I released a Star Wars video on it, of course, but only one so far.
Oh yeah, I see.
You didn't cover it, right?
No,
you didn't.
We just did the stream. Yeah,
I think Joyce did it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we did a lot of like Black Myth Wukong, and I.
Yeah, a lot of content.
Yeah, I love the game. It's insane. It's so good. I'm like, it really gives me, especially I just had like the sort of secret ending thing going on recently, and it gives God of War vibes. It's wild. It's really awesome.
Nice.
So
seems like I have to try it.
Yeah, you totally should. Yeah, I think it's. I hope more people try it. It seems like a lot of people were already keeping an eye on it pre-launch, and now it's out. And I think the word of mouth is gonna help this game, get even more popular, and probably around the Game of the Year watch. I would be shocked if this does not get nominated. I hope it does. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. So
all right.
Thanks everyone for watching, of course. We will be back next week. We will have more streams and other content, of course, here on the channel as well. So stay tuned, and goodbye.
Goodbye.